Hey everyone, didn't even realize it was just live. I'm figuring this out. Um, for everybody who's watching this, doing a YouTube live, talking about some real estate topics. I'm doing these things live because I feel a little bit more comfortable with the camera broadcasting as opposed to recording. But if you're watching, please leave any comments, answer them while I'm doing this. Today's video, I'm going to be talking about things you need to do if you're selling or if you're renting a home out. 10 things you need to clean. One thing there are four words I that scare every seller and landlord and or infuriates them in some cases, and that would be the home is dirty. And I have come across homes that have been truly dirty. I've also come across homes that were in great working order, but they were not cleaned. And I've come across landlords and sellers who'd say, "Why should I clean it? The new person's going to take it." I've learned that if people perceive the house to be dirty, this is actually going to cost sellers money. If they see the house in dirty condition, they think the house wasn't taken care of, and they're going to have to put more money into fixing the house up. And in the case for landlords, if they think the property is dirty, they're not going to apply, and you could be sitting on a vacant property 2, 3 months, and that when you could have been collecting rent. And these are 10 things that I tell people they need to clean before they put the house on the market. Someone popped in and popped off. I know it's such an exciting topic about real estate. But like I said, I want to help people who are trying to sell their home. I'm a licensed realtor. Again, my name is Will Bowers, licensed realtor at Allison James Estates and Homes. I'm in Northern Virginia, just outside of Washington, D.C. I'll also admit my hair can be a little funky at times as I'm looking at myself in the camera and going, wow. But, anyways, so when I'm working with a seller or landlord, I tell them these are the 10 things they should focus on cleaning. And of course, every category has its little areas depending on the type of property. First, I tell people focus on the outside of the home. And the reason I say this is that first impression means a lot. You walk up, you drive. I've seen people, they look at the home, the outside is disheveled. Yard's not kept. It looks dingy, but the interior looks absolutely amazing. But people just don't give the home an opportunity because the exterior looks bad. And with that being said, the first thing I tell people to work on is the landscaping. Um, Clean the mulch up, trim the hedges, cut the grass, do some edging. Uh, Even if there's a fence, clean the fence up. Again, people walk up, people drive up, and this just gives them a great first impression. I've seen people who just, as soon as they see the yard looking fantastic, they are energized, they're eager, they're excited to see the place, and you're setting a great first step for them to make an offer or a stronger offer or even applying if it's a rental property. Um, you'd be amazed. Even trimming the trees, things like this, just cleaning the yard up goes a long way. Second thing I tell people, and this one just sometimes gives me agita. Clean the gutters. Clean the gutters, clean the gutter. You should be doing that anyway if you own a home. Um, I have come across situations where you can see just things growing out of the gutters. I've come across situations where the path in front of the gutter wasn't clear, so water starts accumulating, and then that could contribute to water seeping into the house. Um, I really recommend cleaning the gut, not just clearing the gutters, but also cleaning the exterior. If they look battered, beaten up, replace them with something new that doesn't look as beaten up. Again, setting the first impression, but also I come across just a fair amount of times where I just see water accumulating or just science projects growing out of the gutters. Um, the third thing I recommend for getting your home ready if you're selling or renting it out is power washing the exterior of the house. You keep the house clean, you maintain it, but sometimes stuff just settles on the side of the house, and even though it just needs a good cleaning, people just perceive it as dirty, abused, not taken care of, and a simple power washing could help that quite a bit. And sometimes I've seen some people even, depending on the type of exterior, paint if it's brick, um, replace some of the siding, but you get the idea. Clean the sides of the house. It just goes a long way. Again, it gives it a nice, fresh, vibrant look, and again, again, back to that, creating a great first impression. Excuse me, I'm just going to my area, my little cheat sheet. Next one, on the areas around the house, outside the house, declutter. And what I mean by this, I've seen people just dump all sorts of stuff on the patio, the balcony, the outside living area. Clean that out. If you get a balcony, I have seen balconies just turned into storage units. And again, people just perceive that as you don't take care of the house and you just throw things willy nilly all over the place. In reality, you're just storing stuff on the side, but declutter, clear it out. Same thing with the sheds. If you can, keep the sheds organized. Pe- You'd be amazed. If I have seen houses look absolutely amazing, but the sheds look like they're falling apart, and people just perceive that as you didn't take care of the property. What else is wrong with the home? Silly as it sounds, but perception is reality. And anybody who works in sales understands that. You want the people to fall in love with a home. You don't want people to start having doubts, thinking the place isn't taken care of. Um, the fifth thing, and this is the last one for the exterior, put some attention to the front of the house. And what I mean by that is repaint the door. Um, look around the door frame. Does the door frame look like it's rotting out? Same. I actually should say the same thing for the window sills and the window frames. Do they look like they're rotting out? Do they need to be repainted? Do they need some TLC? Um, Painting the walkway, painting the front stoop. Really, really, it gives a fresh look to the property. And I know, sounds silly. You go through the front door all the time and you never really pay attention, but this is their first time seeing it. And again, you're trying to sell the house. You're trying to find a tenant. You want the place to look good. And if it looks nice, again, you're creating that buzz, that excitement. You want people to enjoy the home. Um, Now the sixth thing, and I kind of touched it a little bit on the last one. We're now going to be focusing on the interior of the property. Clean the windows. Clean the windows. And again, like I said in the last one, look at the window sills, look at the window frames. Do they need to be repainted? Do they need to be replaced? Is there any type of rot? But also clean the windows themselves. Silly as it sounds, it's the little. I've learned in the 12 years I've been doing this. It's the little things that help get a house sold. So clean the windows inside and out if you can. Um, Three-story house, you know, if you can't hire somebody, I understand, but clean the windows as best you can. Same thing with mirrors, just clean them. Another thing that it does too, if you also clean them, allows a little bit more natural light, so people are seeing it during the daytime. It creates a little, again, creating that vibe, creating that energy. It sounds crazy, but buying a home is partially emotional and partially rational. The rational aspect, budget, does it fit the needs for my lifestyle, for my family, whatever the case may be, but also the emotional aspect of, do I enjoy this house? Can I see a family growing here? Can I see it throwing parties in here? And you really want to set that for people. Um, Now, on the seventh thing, self-explanatory, but you'd be amazed at how many people actually ignore this. And I'm just going over my list. Give the kitchen a deep clean, a good, thorough, deep cleaning. You'd be amazed at how many times I've seen kitchens that just, someone like a Robert Irvine, Gordon Ramsay would just be screaming if they saw the condition of the kitchen. Clean, and I don't mean just a simple wipe down. Clean the fridge, clean the sink, clean the stove, clean the floors, the countertops. Give it a thorough cleaning. If you're going to hire a company to clean the interior of your house, typically cleaning companies have two different types: just a basic cleaning and what some people call it a move-in clean. You're getting the place ready for a new person to move in. Um, I know companies in Northern Virginia, but if you talk to a property manager, they know companies that can take care of that. But you want a good, clean kitchen. It Kitchen sells the place. Kitchen plays one of the biggest roles. And if the kitchen looks disgusting, people will just say, no, I'm not interested in buying or applying for it. It's And yet so many people just ignore that. It's mind-boggling. Um, Eighth thing on the list. It's going to be the floors. You may not necessarily need to replace the carpet or replace the flooring, whether it's tile, granite, vinyl. You may not need to do that, but give it a good, clean, thorough cleaning. So if it's carpet, get those steam cleaners. You can easily rent them at some of the grocery stores. I've seen people use borax, which you can get at the grocery store for detergent. Put it in the carpet, and it cleans it out. With the floors, if it's vinyl, tile, whatever the case, granite, whatever the case may be, give those a good cleaning. Again, perception is reality. People see dirty floors and they think you didn't take care of the property, and it could be something like pet stains, scratches. Um, the I've even seen carpets where cats or dogs have ripped them up, and I recommend either patching it or replacing it, but taking care of the floors can go a long way. Just setting that perception. Um, the ninth thing I'm going to recommend, I recommend for sellers and landlords to do when they're got a property. And again, this is going to go towards what I said earlier. It is the tiny details. Light switches, the plates for the outlets, the plates for the light switches, clean them or replace them. Door jambs, door hinges, the knobs for cabinets. Do they look nice? Are they clean? Are they, you may not necessarily need to replace them with something new, but how do they look? I really recommend cleaning them, replacing them. Same thing with light fixtures. You have a light fixture that may not necessarily be bright enough, may have some issues, may look a little dated, or it might just need to be cleaned. These little things go a long way. And you may think, well, why? The more someone is really into a property, the longer they stay, and they're picturing, how does my furniture look in the living room? How does my furniture look in this room that could be a den? How does the kitchen fit for what we need? And they start looking, and they're looking at things at different angles. The more they're into it, and you want to just keep the good time, essentially keep the good times rolling in this. Now, the 10th thing on the list, and this is also this is also kind of a water is wet type of moment, but you'd be amazed at how many people ignore this. Give the house a deep cleaning and I mean the bathroom, the bedrooms. Give them a good cleaning. Again, you're not just I talked about doing the floors, but also in the bathroom, the tub, the sink, reseal, regrout if you have to. All these things go a long way. If they see what they perceive to be mold or damage, they start thinking there's something wrong with the house, and they might not, like I said, they might not make an offer, or they might offer less. Same thing for the bedrooms. Obviously you're working on the carpets, but are there any marks in the walls that should be repainted or covered up? How is the shelving in the closets? Are the shelving still? You'd be amazed at how many. It is amazing how many times I walk into a house and I see the shelving in a closet just bowing because they have put so much heavy stuff in there that it's just bending. So how does the place look? Give it a cleaning. It is it goes a long way. I know, I get it. Cleaning is not fun, but you're selling the place and you have plans for that money. Maybe it's your retirement account, maybe it's paying for your kids' college education, maybe you're using the funds to buy another property. This is going to have a major impact on you financially. You got to do this. You want to make that money, you got to give them a presentable house. Same thing for landlords. You're building your retirement fund or paying for a kid's college fund, or the case may be. You want quality tenants who are going to pay you and take care of the property. You got to give them a property that you've taken care of. Anyways, thanks for watching. Please like, comment, subscribe. Any other videos you want me, any other topics you want me to talk about, greatly appreciate it. Just put it in the comments and I'll work on that. But thank you again for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.